Okay. Should all be good now. Got that synced up and all that goodness. Um, Hopefully that was good enough. So I was sitting here doing as one does, editing away, and all of a sudden it hits me. You take a little break, stretch, you look up at your arm, like, anything to do here? It's an arm. What's an arm doing here? I mean, look at it. It's like, it sits there and it's all of a sudden, why is this thing in front of me? What's it doing in front of me? Let's go with the original take. It made the most sense. Now I'm all like I'm a poser. A poser. You see it now. I'm trying too hard. I hate it. I hate it when I try too hard. When I try too hard, I feel like a fake. I hate feeling like a fake. It disturbs me. It makes me feel ill inside. And you feel like you're just doing something. If I'm going to do this to make a little money. Doesn't that always make you feel ill when you do that? You feel just sick and disgusted. Even though you think, well, if I do this, I could have that extra little bit of cash, and maybe a little bit more extra cash after that, then I could afford that fancy graphics card. And then maybe Space Engineers shall not lag itself to death. With 12 gigs of RAM on a graphics card. And you think all that, and you're like, yes, I shall do it. I shall put out an ARC video on the very day it's out, even though I'm so tired and I cannot think. And you get in there, and the second you think about actually clicking and dragging that footage into Adobe Premiere, you go, I don't really want to do this. I'm just doing this for money. That's disgusting. The video is great, but I'm just doing this for money. I'm not even caring about the subject matter anymore. See, now my face has been obscured for how long, huh? Hiding behind this thing like an imbecile? And of course, some stupid part of my mind even thinks, well, hide behind it. Because if you're trying to be all prim and proper and make this all ultra professional, then you're just doing it for money in the end, aren't you? You're not trying to speak your mind and just enjoy existing. You're trying to make everything perfect, and not for the fact that you just want things to be beautiful and aligned and perfect. No, you're doing it for the idea that you have to earn money. It needs to be done for money. Isn't that infuriating? It's even the fact that I realize that I'm taking time to make sure as I said correctly, even feels like I'm just doing it to get cash sometimes, even now. It is infuriating to me. It is absolutely infuriating. But of course, at the same time, you don't want to seem the fool. You don't want to be the fool. And you shouldn't actually ever feel fine being the fool unless it's for a joke. And even then, there are limits to that. You should strive to be as well-spoken as you can be, as quick-witted as you can be, and as physically fit as you can be, long as it does not sacrifice your mind. Now, mind you, there is such a disconnect often between the idea of sharpening your mind and keeping your body fit. In fact, you see so many people who wish to dedicate themselves to mental exercises, or at least to what would be considered more technological or mentally advanced things, let their body go. But mind you, if you're in business, so often you see somebody who is very physically fit, but they don't understand the nuances of technology or something, and they might not take interest in things that are, often considered more literary or shows that, touch on different subjects. So I'm going to say I think Doctor Who at times can be that. It can push limits as well as other sci-fi. I actually find those to be more intellectual endeavors than many other TV shows out there. And yet you see this disconnect between people in often the business world and the programming or an art world. as if there's two different groups. And that also is mirrored oftenly in the fact that one group is often more physically fit than the other. But why is that? I don't believe there is actually a physical reason between that. I believe it's just stigma that's been built up between the two almost groups of people. I myself am very, very, well, what's the word I'm looking for here? Responsible? No, I am very guilty. There we go. That's the word I was looking for. I'm very guilty of doing this. And the fact that the second I think of a gym, well, I got OCD, so my mind ping-pongs things more than most people, but the second I think of a gym, I think of high school gym class and just how hideously uncomfortable that is, and then how idiotic gym things often feel to me. Like, I feel like my brain is going to wither away if I even lift a weight, which is idiotic. It is completely idiotic. But I'm not sure I actually have, even though I wish to dedicate so much of my mind to creative thought and mental endeavors, I'm not sure I have the mental power to actually be able to disconnect myself from that. It's insane, really. It's really insane that even though one would try to dedicate themselves to mental power, they then don't have the mental power to actually go ahead and tell themselves, no, because I lift a weight, my brain will not wither and die instantaneously. If I only lifted weights, then maybe so, but I'm not going to. I'm going to do enough to keep myself healthy and alive for as long as I possibly can. Yet that so often does not happen. And of course, I myself don't necessarily dedicate myself completely to mental endeavors. There are those who do, and those that do succeed very well at mental endeavors and keeping themselves very fit. There's an assortment of comedians out there who are not flabby monstrosities such as myself, who actually are very, very fantastic people, physically and mentally, as well as many, many other scientists and other people and businessmen who do like games and art and different types of program on the internet and television that do expand their minds. Maybe I'm just thinking of too small of a bubble of people. Maybe this division I see doesn't really exist as greatly as I think it does. Maybe it's just a fault in my way of thinking that maybe because of my OCD, maybe just because of the way my mind works, I like to see things segregated and put in little tiny groups. The world isn't black and white, though, is it? And no, in nothing is it black and white, really, is it? Anyway, that's just something I felt like sharing. Ta-ta.